That is. Why haven't you gotten it before? You had to know on it until yesterday.
If you want to be back, but I'm going to Charlie otherwise. Already started. All right, we'll call this meeting to order at 6:31 p.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
roll call.
Craig here.
Baylor here. Nudesky here.
Schneider here.
Tommy here.
Seth's here.
Cummings here.
The record show all are present. I have in front of me the verification of proper meeting notices being posted. Brings us up to the agenda. Are there any changes, alterations to the agenda this evening?
There are none. I would like to recognize our incoming board members that are both here in person tonight. Chad Yurgis and Bill Fari are here, so welcome to them. They will officially assume their responsibilities for the April 24th meeting, and then we'll go forward from there.
Yes, welcome. So brings us to the agenda. Look for a motion.
I so move to approve as published.
I'll second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Crave, seconded by Ms. Stangler, to approve the agenda as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Brings us to the action of the minutes from the special board meeting dated Wednesday, March 8th. Closed session. Any noted changes, board members?
I so move for approval.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Mr. Craig, seconded by Mr. Setz to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Brings us to the minutes from the regular board meeting, Monday, March 13th. Not May yet. Any noted changes here?
I'll move for the approval.
Cummings will second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Mr. Setz, seconded by Mrs. Cummings, to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. And finally brings us to the action minutes of the regular board meeting from Monday, March 13th in the closed session. Any changes to note here?
I'll move to approve those minutes. Cummings will second.
Got a motion by Ms. Kwame, seconded by Ms. Cummings, to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Brings us to board reports, and we'll start with our student representatives. And for the first time in a long time, we have both of them present. So you guys have the floor.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for having me talk this evening. I am Kyle Hush, a junior here at Waterloo, and this is Maddie Webster, a senior. We're here to give a quick overview of what the student body has done lately. We are starting off our spring sports competitions. Track has had one track meet so far, and there are many more to come. Baseball and softball also had a few games, and it's exciting to continue competing. High school participated in the student versus staff FFA basketball game, where students beat the staff. And Mr. Bartell was chosen to have to kiss a cow in front of all of us, and that was a funny thing to experience.
A guest speaker named Ty Sells came to Waterloo to talk to the middle and high school about mental health. His presentation was very informative, and he asked the crowd questions to get others involved. He gave a lot of helpful tips about improving or maintaining a healthy mindset, which was really nice. And during Flex today, the seniors had a meeting today for the alumni banquet, which is going to be on Saturday, May 20th. You all are invited to the alumni banquet. A $30 admission fee will be charged, and they would love to see you there. The forensics team will be going to state this year, which is awesome. The team was led in scoring by Alyssa Jane Key, who scored 72 out of a possible 75 points. She had a perfect score in one round. Other perfect scores for rounds were obtained by Corinne and Faith. Congratulations to 11 members of the team who qualified. Some of the upcoming events in the high school are the FFA banquet this Wednesday at 6 p.m., prom Saturday, May 6th with post-prom to follow, as well as the top 10 banquet on Monday, May 8th, which all of you are also invited to attend, and we would be extremely happy to see you there. The scholarship banquet will be held on Wednesday, May 17th at 6:30 p.m., and the academic awards are on Wednesday, May 24th at 2 p.m. We hope you all are able to attend some of these events to get a deeper view of what we are up to. Thank you for your time. Do you guys have any questions?
Board members, any questions? I have a question, but when does this cow kissing thing happen?
I think was it last week?
Yeah, it was during assembly.
There's definitely pictures, so you should definitely try to check those out. It was really funny. I think Mr. Bartelt put them in before he kissed the cow and everything, just to make sure.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right, thank you both.
Thank you.
Brings us to administrative reports. Mr. Bartelt, you have the floor.
Good evening, can you hear me okay?
Quite well.
A little bit loud. Hold up, we're adjusting the volume.
Try it now.
How does that sound now?
That's better.
Much less definite.
First off, thank you, Maddie and Cal, for presenting. They always do a wonderful job just giving an update with kind of what's going on from a student standpoint at the high school. I know Maddie mentioned the Ty Sells presentation that we had last week, and I just want to talk a little bit more about that. We have a partnership with the Jefferson County Drug Coalition, and we've been working with them for the past couple of years. During COVID, we actually had a speaker remotely log in. I think that was 2 years ago. Talk about being kind and some bullying. And this year, we had the opportunity, they reached out through monthly meetings that I have with them to have a speaker that they were going to sponsor for us. So Ty Sells, the county paid for him to come to our school, and he went to a few other schools in the county as well. And we were able to tailor the presentation to what we wanted. So Christine and I looked at our YRBS data, and from a high school standpoint, it was about finding hope. And again, he kind of talked about, when life comes at you as not as expected, talked about how to handle that. And at the middle school, he talked about the power of acceptance and accepting all people. So he tailors his presentations to kind of the need of the school, which is really neat. And he travels across the country to give motivational speeches. After the presentation, we had that last Wednesday. After the presentation, the company provided some follow-up discussion and questions that our students, sorry, I got a little man here, that our students at the high school were able to talk through with our staff. So there was some prompting about 10 to 15 questions, discussion points at the high school that we did during our flex time, and then that our middle school did during their pirate time. We had some pretty good feedback overall from the students. They like hearing messages from an outside person, not in the school. So it's just someone different. The students appreciated that. So it was really a nice way just to bring someone in to our district, and we hope that we can continue that coalition with the county to continue to, provide these opportunities for our students.
Thank you, Sean. Board members, any questions?
Come on, just hold the baby up a little bit.
Come on.
You're killing us. There we go.
Can you say hi, Will? Hey, I'm giving
stole the show.
All right, well, you literally have your hands full, so we thank you for your presentation.
Thank you, everyone.
Brings us to Ms. Zeman to talk about social studies materials.
Yeah, I just wanted to take a minute to update you all where we are on our social studies adoption. We had two curriculum resource people come in and give presentations to the staff. We had one presentation from Houghton Mifflin and one presentation from Savis. As we look at our resources, Savis is the only one that offers a continuum K-12. So Houghton Mifflin offers resources 6-12. The teachers are leaning more towards the Savis resource because that is what we adopted in 5-8 ELA this year, and they really like the platform and some of the virtual components aligned with it. Our next step is to survey the teachers on which of the two resources they would like to pursue, and then we will present to the curriculum committee our proposal, which will be brought to you. Any questions?
Board members, any questions?
Yeah, I have one. Do you, besides listening to the review, do you intend to like have a teacher pilot each of these to try it out?
They
rather
have
than just
been.
see they have
Yeah,
been?
they have been all year. Yeah.
Awesome, thank you.
Yep.
Thank you, Ms. Zeman. Brings us to Ms. Beacon, summer school planning.
All right, April's super busy month. We've been doing, we're right in the middle of forward testing. Christine and I are working on schedules and getting everybody tested and doing all that work. And I'm also planning for our summer school. So the booklet is out. Sarah, bless her heart, she worked really hard to get everything ready for registration. So that went out this week. The new handbook is ready to go for the class listings, things like that. Teachers, I have lots of teachers excited about teaching summer school. It's gonna start June 12th and go through June 28th for pre-K 8. So yeah, I'm very excited to offer some summer school this summer.
Any questions, board members? Thank you, Ms. Beacon.
All right, thanks.
Brings us to Ms. Armentrout, an update on the procedural compliance self-assessment.
Good evening, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. So just prepared a couple of visuals for you regarding this update. Our procedural compliance self-assessment is part of one of the monitoring activities that DPI uses, to check for compliance and to ensure that we have the best outcomes for our students who receive special education. So if you take a look at the timeline, I just want to give you an update as to where we are in the process. So every 5 years, school districts participate. Can you go back one, Beth?
Oh, sure.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. So just to kind of update you specifically, that last slide is just for your reference. It's the DPI's timeline, but here's where we are in the process. So this is a year-long process that we began in August. Typically, DPI recommends that you have a team of about 4 to 6 staff members trained to be able to review IEPs and evaluation paperwork. And just to remind you of where we are or where we've been, we had 11 staff members trained. We had a lot of volunteers that wanted to be a part of this process so that we can learn and grow and improve. So I was very excited and proud to be a part of the staff. All of our admin were trained. We had special educators, regular educators, and a parent. So after that training occurred over the summer, between September and October, we reviewed IEP paperwork and evaluation paperwork from last year to determine if any corrections were needed. Then we turned those results into the DPI and we reconvened the team to go over those results and brainstorm ways to improve our process and procedures. So that team met between November and now, and we developed a plan for improving. This included professional development for all special education staff and administration on college and career ready IEPs. We have model IEPs for our staff to review, and then we have the review process where I put eyes on every one of our IEPs. So highlighted is what we've done most recently. In March, we had a DPI representative come to complete a desk review. Basically, she requested a stack of IEPs and took a look at our corrections to see how they looked, and was very complimentary for our staff. So I was excited to hear that. So the next step that all districts involved in the self-assessment go through is a random sample of this year's evals and IEPs are selected to review, and then DPI comes out again in May to take a look and see if the improvements and the processes we put in place are showing through in our IEPs. And I'm pretty confident. Our staff has worked so hard. I'm very impressed with the IEPs and evaluations that have been coming forth this year. Any questions about the self-assessment process, to where we're at?
Questions, board members? Doesn't seem to be any.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Brings us to Mr. Henny for a few updates.
Yeah, a couple items included in your board packets this time around were the Dodge County and Jefferson County truancy documents. We also have one through Dane County, although this wasn't the year for renewal for that one. Basically, every 4 years, the county takes a look at those and makes sure that they're still pertinent to current statutes and laws, and works with the school districts to make sure processes are in place for districts that need to use those truancy documents to pursue kids that have been absent from school. So have those for your review in there. Both of those, I believe, have been approved at the county level, and will go forward. There really wasn't a lot of changes to them this year, other than some edits and so forth, some typos and whatnot. There has been a number of state budget advocacy letters floating around. Some boards have chose to adopt resolutions kind of on behalf of advocacy at the state budget level. I included one in your packet tonight from the Sun Prairie School District, and basically how this goes is, as different districts and groups start, sending letters, they ask people to sign on to those, and sometimes I sign on to them for us as a school district, most of the time when they're from other schools, not really anybody else. But that is one way to, send that message to our legislators about the help that we need in school funding. And the letter that's in there tonight, is pretty straightforward. It takes the pieces right out of the governor's proposal for the budget and reiterates those to legislators. So just grassroots effort and advocacy. I think that we should sign on to those. I was interested in what your thoughts were. Typically, there's a fast turnaround on those. If you want me to, bring each one of those to you as they come, I can do that. Or if you'd like me to use my best judgment and sign on to those as they come about, we can do that too. I thought this one was pretty straightforward. Sometimes they get a little bit more in detail. Any thoughts on advocacy efforts, or if, as a board, you guys want to sign on to those as they come about? Because now we're just kind of starting the busy season for those things.
I think we need to sign on. I think we need to, as a board, we got it. I know the state knows it, but they're sure not doing anything.
I agree.
Yeah, and we wouldn't necessarily, we wouldn't be signing on to anything political. It's usually things that are advocating for resources for schools and funding and all stuff that involves your role in leadership in the school board.
Any other comments?
Sign on.
Yeah, I would agree. As a district that just narrowly passed a referendum, we are certainly an advocate to get some state funds.
So then I just real quickly also wanted to mention, there was a flyer in front of you when you arrived tonight, just on some of the workshops that are coming up through the WASB. They do have some new board member workshops, but they also have some spring essential elements of governance workshops that are kind of for everybody. And so we can take a look at those if anybody would like to attend those as an individual or a group. We can talk about that. In some cases they're free, in some cases they're a small fee. So I wanted to put that in front of you as well. And then I also wanted to talk about, we're currently in our fitness center and pool membership drive. And so that's going on right now. So you'll see stuff out there right now about joining the fitness center and pool. So I'd like to return the hours to the regular hours before we made the cuts in February, so that we can make sure we get our membership drive. And then, as you heard Holly talking about elementary and intermediate, middle school, summer school, we also had high school summer school that was hanging out there. And I'd like to talk to Sean tomorrow about getting high school summer school going back in the line again too. Fitness center and pool kind of pays for itself, and the high school summer school program, you know, we've been able to receive some grants now and save some money in a few other areas. I think returning that to being able to run this year would be a good thing to do. So I just kind of wanted to update you on all of that.
About how many students would participate in high school summer school?
It varies by the year, but anywhere from 25 to 40 kids.
Any other questions for Mr. Henning?
Yeah, I have a question just about the district's attendance policy. It says in here it should be on the website. When I did a search of the website, it's not like attendance policy posted there. It is in each of the handbooks. Is that kind of our official posting?
I'd have to go back and look and see what we have on the website. I haven't looked at it recently, but if we're missing some things up there, we can make sure we get it
I
up there.
looked for it and I couldn't find it, except it is in all three of the handbooks.
Yeah.
But that's not the official policy, that's the
Right.
handbook version of it.
Yeah, we've changed the website so much in the last year or so. I'd have to look and see what we have up there, but yeah.
Yeah. Awesome. And then it also just, it says that the contact person should be listed, so obviously I didn't see the policy, I also didn't see a contact person for attendance.
Anything else for Mr. Henning? Thanks. Okay, moving on. Brings us up to the approval of the bills and vouchers. We have copies of the treasury report, the listing of disbursements through March 31st, and the district receipts through the month of March, excuse me. Is there anyone who had questions that have not yet been answered in regards to any of the listed documents?
I'd so move for approval.
Second.
Okay. So we've got a motion by Mr. Crave, seconded by Ms. Stangler. And just to clarify, your motion would be to approve the three listed classifications of documents here in one
Yes.
fell swoop. Everyone clear on that? That will be a roll call vote. Mr. Crave?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Brings us up to legislative updates. Any legislative updates to share? Anyone?
So I know Representative Dietrich was in town here, and it's always good to see them show up locally and listen to folks. I did not attend, but maybe some of you did.
No. I did not. I usually watch for town hall visits and the likes of that, so. If anyone, maybe we know of it, get an email out to us, because sometimes we can miss those.
Yeah, I think it was posted through the city most of the communications. Okay. Brings us to announcements. A couple of big ones this evening. We have some clocks to commemorate service to our exiting board members. But first, present to Kate her authentic clock. Thank you for your service for your 3 years. And for Karen, I'll give you guys your stuff. Get this done. I also have a clock. I'm going to have you tell me how many years of service.
15.
15 years.
15 years. I never thought I'd be the last man standing.
Well, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
Any other announcements, Mr.
No, but I'd like us to say thanks to Kate and to Karen. You know, it seems like every year it gets harder and harder to serve in these leadership roles, and you know, whether it's COVID or whether it's referendums or whatever it is, it's not easy to be in leadership roles, and for you two to fulfill your civic duty by being on the board. And as much as I see that you care about kids in the district, I just want to say thank you on behalf of everyone in the district for your service and commitment. And hopefully, even though you're transitioning to a different role, we still see and hear from you time to time, and you check in on us. So.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, and I would say, I would echo those comments of thank you for serving during some unprecedented times. We certainly had a lot of long nights, long meetings, going through some uncharted waters through a pandemic. So again, thank you very much for your time and efforts for the district.
Yeah, and we do have some cookies, so if anyone wants to stop and grab a cookie now or on your way out, please do that.
Help yourself.
It's just one option, it's not both.
Yeah.
Now and later.
All right. That'll bring us into public input. Does anyone wish to provide public input this evening?
I do.
Okay, Mrs. Thompson would like to, and I'll breeze through it because I know you know the rules of public input. We know who you are, so when we give you the floor, we just remind you that your thoughts and opinions are that of yourself and do not necessarily reflect the Waterloo School District. And we will give you the floor, Mrs. Thompson.
I've had the privilege of working with both of the board members that are retiring this evening, and so I wanted to come and personally thank you for your service. Especially, it's nice to have the two new board members here. Sometimes you don't know what goes into being a board member. You may have been told, oh, it's only one meeting a month or something. Well, you have a lot to learn if that's what you think it is. And there's a lot more to it, and I want to thank them for doing that. I know I served a lot longer with Karen than I did with Kate, but both of them I know have their hearts in the district, believe in the kids, fulfilled their responsibilities. And it's not easy because you deal with a lot of challenges as well as a lot of good times. And I hope when you leave, you remember the good times more than the challenges, but I know you will have learned from those challenges as well. One thing that I do want to compliment particularly is, and not singling out, but Kate, your community engagement has been outstanding. I served on the board for 36 years. I got to know board members throughout the state and throughout the community here, and I can honestly say that I know few people that attempted to engage the community as much as you did in trying to find out, keeping people informed, letting them know what their feelings were on issues, and that was very important. And I also commend you for your data decision making, that you wanted to have the information that you needed to make the decisions rather than just using gut feelings. Sometimes that meant requesting information that wasn't always perhaps accepted as as well as you would have liked to have been, but you persevered, and I commend you for doing that, because I think in finding out the information, you make the best decisions. Did the three of us agree on everything, on every issue? No way. And I don't think probably all of you agree on everything. And I think that's good, because out of the diversity of opinion usually comes the best decisions. You reach a consensus, and as long as you're respectful of each other, I think those differences of opinion, excuse me, are fine. So as you leave the board, I hope you remember the wonderful things you did for the students of the Waterloo School District. I think you will see them grow, and some of them may never thank you for years to come, but it's those that thank you years and years and years later that I think really touch your heart and will let you know that the time you spent here was well worth it. So I think I'm speaking for a lot of people, but I'm not going to be so bold as to say I'm speaking for the whole community. But on my behalf, at least, I want to thank both of you, and I hope as you walk away, you remember and have learned from this experience, and I'm sure that you have. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. Any other public input? It's Doc, right?
Doc Coker, yep. I just wanted to say that I did actually see a representative at the library when they came by, and, of course, plugged for more money for the school districts and stuff like that. And let them know the harassment and craziness we've had the last couple of years with our budgeting here in Waterloo, and challenged him on open enrollment versus, maintaining our force here, and, edging into the schools with the most diversity as far as the student base, which we definitely do. We've got quite a bit of diversity and things like that. And of course, he was seeing the public, so he's very positive about everything. And I just basically reminded him that, of the 600 some odd school districts, almost 400 some odd of them had referendums to get more money in the last 2.5 years-ish. And that should be an eye-opener to the state of Wisconsin senators and representatives that it's time to work together, regardless of what side of the bench you're on, to make sure we invest in our future people. That's really all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? All right, we will move on. We get into new business. The first action item is staff positions. We have a Margaret Davidson presented here as a teacher's aide for part-time employment. And that is the only staff position up for discussion this evening. Any questions, board members?
I move to approve.
I'll second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Ms. Lewandowski, seconded by Mr. Crave, to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Action item B would be the Migrant Summer School Program dates and times. As presented, we've got the dates of June 12th through 15th, June 19th through the 22nd, June 26th through the 29th, and the time is from 12 to 3 p.m. We've listed out the staff here, and it's recommended that we approve the migrant school program as presented with staff.
Yeah, so these will run in the afternoons following regular summer school. Kids will stay, have lunch, and then stay for migrant summer school. And then the following people will be working with those students in that program. So real typical for what we've done the last several years.
I'll move to approve as presented.
I'll second.
Okay, got a motion by Ms. Lewandowski, seconded by Ms. Kwame, to approve as presented. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Brings us to the CISA 2 and CISA 5 contracts. I believe we have a handout in the supplemental packet information here. Are there any questions in regards to the CISA 2 or CISA 5 contracts as presented? Are there any major changes, Mr. Henning, in the contracts?
No, we're in a situation here where so much of our services are driven by IEPs, and so we really only know what services we'll be getting when we take a look at which students will be here for the next year. We are in a little bit of a unique situation. Most schools don't work with two different CISAs. We do. We're obviously a member of CISA 2, which Nancy served on the board for a really long time at CISA 2. And then CISA 2 doesn't necessarily have all of the services, so we've partnered with CISA 5 as well in the past to get services from both CISAs. So that's why you see two contracts in front of you. More or less, you're agreeing to work with them again this year, and then when Michelle has an opportunity to put together the services for what we'll need for students with IEPs, then that will drive what the dollar amounts will be. I mean, we have some historical data to go on, but still, it just depends on which kids show up.
I move to approve both CISA 2 and CISA 5 contracts as presented.
Cummings will second.
Okay, I've got a motion by Ms. Kwame, seconded by Ms. Cummings to approve the CISA 2 and CISA 5 contracts as presented. Is there any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 voice vote. Brings us to discussion. The next two items are discussion items for the 2023 Building and Grounds meeting and the Policy Committee meeting. It was listed, I believe, last month, sending me your desired committee preference. I've received a few. It's listed here. We want to look at some dates. I don't know if we want to finalize the committees first.
Yeah, I figured we'd probably have to wait till next meeting, but definitely wanted to get you thinking about it. And if you are ready and want to set some dates, we can. But knowing that you're going to have a few different people in the mix here, we can wait. That's fine.
Okay. Yeah, I don't believe we've reached out to our new board members to get their desired committee preferences, so we certainly can. But I guess come to the next meeting with if you've not sent them to me, please send them over, your preferred committees, and I guess your calendar to try to get some dates decided upon. So we will jump down to...
Matt, do you want to reach out to Chad and Bill, or do you want us
I'll
to, and then just let them know what their options are?
Sure.
Okay.
I'll send you guys an email. That'll work. That'll take us down to item F, the April reorganization meeting. Can't talk this evening. As Mr. Henning had stated, and it's listed in here again, to send me your committee meeting assignments, but on April 24th at 6:30, we will go through and do a reorganization and also go through the designation of depository, legal counsel, set our regular board meeting time, and the official newspaper. Again, as it's a discussion item tonight, not to take an action, but we had discussed potentially changing the meeting time/date. And I don't know that we ever gotten anywhere to any sort of finality on that, so.
And the meeting minutes or the packets being sent
Sure.
virtually.
But the packets would also be a derivative if that meeting date changes, right? So I don't know if there's some additional discussion to be had this evening. If we want to give our administrator some more direction there. I think what we had talked about was potentially moving to Wednesdays because there is a really limited amount of school events on Wednesdays. So it might present an option that we could continue with the way that the packets are delivered, the board informer packets, but that would give you an additional 2 to 3 days to go through the information.
I would prefer Wednesdays.
Okay.
So,
It doesn't matter to me.
Yeah, I'm fine with Wednesdays. I would like to see the board informer go electronic.
Yeah, me too. My daughter brought it home.
Mine does too.
Yeah.
She would prefer not to.
Me too.
Well, either day works for me, but from what I understand, it would really help if it was a little later, a couple days later in the month would help with the bookkeeping and the reconciliation of bank statements and all that business that goes into preparation. So to respect all that work that goes into it, I would opt for the Wednesday, Monday.
Okay. Sounds like we have a consensus of our current board members. And typically we don't break the ranks, if you will, and speak to our attendees. But if you guys ran on the notion that meetings were going to be on Mondays, hopefully Wednesday would work for you.
Wednesday's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, I should be able to make it work.
Okay.
It's only 1 month, right?
No, no.
No, it's just a couple Portland meetings are on Wednesday nights, planning commission, so.
Okay. All right, so we'll break this down. So Wednesday seems to work. Does the same time work, 6:30? 6:30? Looks like we're in agreement on 6:30. Now, do we want to keep it at the second Wednesday, or do we want to change that?
I think the second Wednesday's fine.
Second or third.
Does everyone concur? And we're not putting business manager in a bind?
Does two extra days make a difference? Or should
I know. Do you want it the third week?
No, I think the second would be fine. Yeah. Either one would be fine, but the second would be.
Is doable. And then, in finality, electronic distribution of informer. What do we need to talk to there?
Well, so there you have a multitude of options because you could do something simple like a shared Google Doc. We are partnering with Board Docs now for our new policy services. So that's a real common one that districts use to disseminate electronic board packet. But there are dozens of vendors out there that can provide that also. Obviously, everything from Google Docs being free to fees for services like that. So if you've seen something or heard from another board member or another school and you want us to get that information for the entire group, we can do that. It might, like I said, lend itself pretty nicely to work with Board Docs since we're already going to be doing our policy stuff with them and they do the same thing. But it's really up to you. So, and we can, if we choose something, we can change too.
Sure. Well, I think, is there a consensus? No problem with electronic? We have people who prefer electronic?
I prefer paper.
Okay.
I just live down the street.
Yeah. Well, you're here every day, so.
Are you gentlemen okay with electronic as well? Chad, you're cool with electronic document?
Yeah.
Okay. So I would say, I would lean to, as we're making some radical changes. If you have a recommendation, and I'm fine with Board Docs and knowing anything about it, but as long as we get the information.
Yeah, I think whatever's easiest for the district staff to be able to produce it.
All right. You need anything else there, Mr. Henning?
I don't believe so.
Great. All right, item G, moving on here, discussion, graduation. Please make note that graduation is currently scheduled for Sunday, June 4th at 1 p.m. Inclement weather would push us into the field house. It's saying here that if any board members would like to assist with handing out diplomas, to please let Mr. Henning know.
I would like to assist.
Me too. Charlie?
I can help.
Chad or Bill? Okay.
Nice. Good.
Yeah, I would like to assist.
Okay.
the stage. All right, moving on. Discussion item H, staff recognition events. The end of year staff recognition event's been scheduled for June 2nd at 9 a.m. in the cafeteria and commons area. They will be recognizing staff for years of service and retirements. Everyone is certainly welcome to attend. The Staff Appreciation Week is May 8th through the 12th. And it says they have a few items planned for the week. So if you'd like to help as a board member, and maybe Mr. Henny can elaborate on how you could help, you're supposed to let him know.
Yeah, we have a number of events planned, so depending on your schedule, if you either want to help serve a breakfast or help pass out clothing items, it's really kind of up to you. If you just let us know if you're interested in helping, and then maybe what your availability is, then we can plug you in to assist with any of those items. So, and if you recall too, we also encourage people from the community to do staff appreciation things on their own, and as board members, we'd certainly encourage you to do that too. It's sort of a all hands on deck for Staff Appreciation Week, and certainly the teachers end up with recognition, but we also don't want to forget all the other employee groups, support staff and food service and custodial and so forth.
Yes, very important. All right, moving on. Discussion item I, Multicultural Family Night. Board members are invited to attend the district's annual Multicultural Night being held on May 10th, 5 to 6:30 p.m. in the high school cafeteria. You're invited to bring a dish to pass, enjoy food, fun, connect with members of our community. It says that it is a really great event, so please note on your calendar. And our final discussion item, the elephant in the room, the referendum. So we can disregard the note on here, but it has been passed. So we will move forward with our fiduciary responsibility in directing district funds as we stated we would, and why we needed said funds to carry on providing the programs that best benefit our students. Is there any discussion regarding the referendum?
Just want to say thank you to the community.
Yes.
Thank you.
So I did provide the state data for this time around for you tonight. Things had been passing at pretty close to 80% for the last several years. This may or may not be an indicator of a changing of the tide. So about 58% of the questions this time around passed. So I feel very fortunate to be in that larger group, but definitely I think you're seeing sensitivity to the inflation and economy and all of those things that we heard also during our survey and feedback sessions with the community. So very interesting times in the state of Wisconsin when it comes to school funding and how referendums are being used, and it's not over by any means. There's going to be a lot of discussion about how we fund schools going forward, I think, for many years.
Agreed. And then to echo the sentiment, just thank you to the community for pushing this across the finish line so we can continue to conduct business here day in and day out, and support why we're all here, and that's to better the students of our community, and provide them with the best opportunity for education in our public school. Another thanks to Mr. Henning and staff. We had staff members up, if anyone got to attend the spaghetti dinner. A lot of staff members up here giving tours, allowed a lot of community members, the ones that attended anyway, to get a full tour of all the new spaces. It was a very good event, but thank you to you and staff, Mr. Henning, for all the work behind the scenes, putting together all the information, putting out the pamphlets, flyers, etc. All necessary evils of getting this information out so we could substantiate the need. So thank you.
Yeah, I think Karen was the one that, said when you guys decided whether or not you were gonna go back to spring referendum that, we only needed to change, 100 or however you looked at it, 50 some votes. And we closed the gap in each of the voting precincts. So, I feel like we put the information in people's hands and dispelled some of the mistruths that were out there. And obviously, the advocacy efforts by everyone, including the board, was enough to convince people to change enough votes. It still was close, and that's understandable because we knew it was never going to be 100%, but it means a lot to the district in lots of ways.
Agreed. Thank you all. Any other discussion regarding the referendum?
Did you need action on the items you had mentioned earlier, the changing back of the fitness center hours?
No, I think we're just going to do that unless you tell me you don't want that done, then I can hold off on it. But there is sort of that, we're in sort of that weird window now where the cuts you made earlier in the year, those were for this budget cycle, and the referendum doesn't kick in till fall. So we still technically have a deficit that we're running this year. It's just that we are now 4 or 5 months after you made those cuts. And so we know, which line items in the budget are coming out ahead or behind. And so, the $1,500 for summer school, we're pretty sure we found that. And then the fitness center, of course, that after we reviewed the data last meeting is supporting itself. So really you're not doing much to change that work that you did earlier in the fall. But there's a couple things that we can change to fix or put back the way that they were now.
Well, when will the fitness center hours be back? I've had people ask me about that. When it's gonna start being normal again?
I believe Janessa is creating a staffing document to cover those shifts again. So I think, I'm just gonna say within a matter of weeks. So she's gotta reassign staff. Maybe she'll be ready quicker than that, but for sure by May, if not sooner.
Staffing the fitness center presents some of the same challenges as staffing everywhere else.
Oh yeah, it's really tough to find lifeguards, very tough. In fact, I think, that's something that the board is gonna have to revisit when we talk about compensation again too, because we pay our lifeguards, $10 an hour, which, that's definitely more than minimum wage, but when they can go to Noah's Ark or the Pack in Sun Prairie or wherever and get 12, 13, 14, 15 bucks an hour, that makes it harder for us. So yeah, staffing is difficult all around. We're fortunate to have some really good kids that wanna work in the fitness center and pool and do a good job, but we definitely need to stay competitive just like we do with everything else. You want a lifeguard, Charlie?
No, I've never been able, swimming is not my forte. Well, I even, you asked comments, everything was great about the spaghetti dinner except you served grande cheese. I should have just thrown it away and brought my own.
That's not a bad brand.
Okay.
Next time we'll get it right.
He wants to talk about a contract.
Right. Sponsorship. Sponsorship
that's
would have
right.
gotten you a long
That's
way. Just to note before we look at adjournment here, again, just a reminder, April 24th, 2 weeks, 6:30, right back here, reorganizational meeting. So make sure you have it docketed. I would look for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
I'll second.
Okay, we got a motion by Mr. Craig, second by Mr. Wendowski to adjourn. Let the time show it's 7:24. All those in favor of adjournment?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries on a 7-0 vote. Thank you, everyone.
Ever motion to adjourn, seconded it.
Really, like, Could let you this time.
Want me to change it?
No,